Hey up, welcome to Yorkshire Retro Gamer. This is my first ever video. I won't give you a live story, but if you do like this content, I'm going to be disassembling and putting together, hopefully, a fat PS3. I'll put the model number on the screen somewhere in post. My name is Stuart Blues, and I did this yesterday, and I put it back together 3 times because I kept missing pieces out. But if you want to know how to deep clean your fat PS3, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's get on with it. Okay, so here is the fat PS3. I'm going to show you how to disassemble it, in theory how you would clean it, and then, crucially, put it all back together. I did clean it yesterday. It was dusty as hell because I bought this secondhand and it hadn't been opened. The security void sticker was still on it. Before we get started, if you want to clean it though, you will need a few bits. So you'll need isopropyl alcohol. That's to do any cleaning, so it doesn't affect any of the motherboard, any of that kind of stuff. You also need one of these kits, you know, the screw kits you can get online. You can get them from TikTok, you can get them from AliExpress. They're not dear. Amazon if you want. And you'll need a few of the attachments for this. So this is magnetic in there, simple, just a screwdriver attachment body. All you need is a Phillips head. That's just a standard Phillips head, normal size 0 I think it is. You'll need a little flat head, like that. Let's focus in. And then also the other one, which I think is called a game bit. It's the one that looks like a little star. I think that's the one. You know, the one with 6 edges to it. I don't know if that's picking it up great, but it's the game bit. Apologies, the zoom's automatic and my hand's out on it. You know what a game bit is if you do. I think that's a T10 based on this. I think it's a T10. Anyway, those are the 3 that you'll need. So first things first, and it's crucial to try and remember where you put the screws when you take them out, because it's not a good start watching this, but yesterday I got left over with a screw. Don't know where that goes, but the PS3 does work after taking it apart. If you want to do a proper deep clean, just notice my reflections in there because of the light, which is weird. If you want to do a proper deep clean and get it working smoothly, get yourself some thermal paste. This is Arctic MX4, which I got recommended, and apparently that's really good. Put that on there. It comes with a little applicator and like an injection thing. Sorry if there's a plane in the background picking that up. So let's get down to business. First thing you want to do is turn the PlayStation so it's facing towards you with the logo, so you're reading it upright. And on the bottom, I'll obviously have to do this backwards because of you, but on the bottom, you'll notice 2 sections here. You've got this, which is like a cutout. That's where the hard drive is. And this section here, which is where a screw is in, and it basically prevents this mechanism from sliding. Okay, that doesn't slide. So what you need first is you're going to use your flathead screwdriver, and all you're going to do is there's a little nick here. Okay, so you see that little nick there? So we're just going to go in with the flathead, and that will come straight out, okay? It's just held in by a little clip, which goes into that hole there. Okay, so that's the first one. Put that to the side. And then we have a screw here. This is just a normal Phillips screw, and this is the hard drive. So I'm going to swap over to my Phillips attachment, and we're simply going to undo that. Okay. Make sure you remember where these goes. It helps that that one's a colour. I've obviously not done that enough. There we go. If you've got a magnetic thing, that is always handy. Sorry about the zoom. It's pissing me off now. It is on auto zoom, but it's throwing a wobbler. So we'll put that down to the side. Rule of thumb, because they kind of come together, put that in there just to keep them separate. So now to get rid of hard drive, you want to do, we've got a nice zoom on there. This metal thing here kind of pulls towards you. If there's 2 little side bits here, and it pulls towards you. All right, so it pulls out a little bit. I'll show you from the side. So from here, it just pulls out a little bit. Once you're there, just keep pulling it, and your hard drive will come out, right? Laughing. Put that to the side. Now we have to get rid of the screw in this bit. This bit you should be able to just get out with your finger. It's just a little rubber seal. Just a little rubber seal like that. Nothing technical. Then inside is a Phillips, sorry, that's the game bit screw, beg your pardon. I think it's called a game bit screw. Could be wrong. You just want to get in there for the game bit screw. Remember which way to turn. I have to do it sideways. I can't do it upside down. But you'll get the gist of it. Right. Turn that lefty loosey. And there you go. That's the screw. Keep that with that black bit that came out. So now what that'll do is if you turn the PlayStation back towards you again, that has loosened up the top shelf. So if you pull that towards you, a couple of clicks, lift, and then put that to the side. And don't forget that you've put something to the side, because if you forget like I did, then you'll, not that piece, but other pieces, you will have to come back to it, which is just annoying. Okay, next, we've got to get rid of this black bit. So now on here, we have convenient arrows pointing towards the screws on here. You probably can't pick it up. Let me try and find them. So like on the top, for example, on the top, okay? Let's see if it picks that up where my finger is. So you could just make out an arrow there. See how that arrow is pointing to that? That means there goes a screw, young man. But it's a fat screw. If there's another one on this section, which also has an arrow, but it has a letter S. Can you see that? But I'm working back. See that S with the arrow? That means it's a small screw. Now on the top, there's only one small screw for this section. They are quite long. So you've got a small one where the S is, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, that one's hidden, 4, 5, 6 without the S. So they're big or normal, if you will. So this is just with, we'll get rid of the game bit, and we'll get our Phillips head. If you've got separate screwdrivers, it can be a little bit easier, but I've just got this interchangeable one. So this is the small one. I'll show you the size difference in a moment. So when I watched a video for this the other day, the guy took it apart but didn't put it back together, which was a bit annoying. So let me show you the size difference. So that's your big one. That's the one that's S. S for small. No sign, it's just normal, okay? So there's one S and there's 6 normal or big. So put them to the side and keep them all together. This one sometimes doesn't come out when it's undone, so you have to just scoop it out with the old screwdriver. Okie dokie. So that's my 6 screws that are long and my 1 small screw, S for small. Get that out of the way. So now this just kind of comes off basically, but it's not as easy as that. Tricked you there, didn't I? So the way this works, if you point the PlayStation towards you so that the arrows and stuff are facing you, what you want to do is there's a clip at the front here. So that's when you put it in, it goes in like that, right? So that means at the back, that's where you have to get rid of it. Loosen it, should I say. So if you get your flathead screwdriver, what you have to kind of do, there's a hole in here, right on this corner. And what you have to do is kind of go in and push it as a pivot and push away from you like that, that will get rid of the mechanism. Okay, so it's where the S is. There's a rectangular hole here next to the S. What you want to do first is this side, you'll notice, kind of lifts up a little bit. So if you just put a bit of tension on that, push it down, and then there you go. So you see all those clips at this side, that's how it goes in. There, what it goes into, then it goes down on itself. Yeah. So put that to the side. So what we've got here is we've got the, I think this is like, I don't know what these are, I'm not technical. This is like the battery, I guess, the power source, let's say. This is the disk drive, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to remove the power source, okay? Black one goes first. At the top end, you have these things here. So this is what connects the power source to the motherboard. So all you want to do, be very careful, grab all the wires and just wiggle them back and forth until that white wire comes out. What I did yesterday was I took it out of the actual power source itself, forgot I'd done that, so when I put it all back together the second time, it wasn't connected and it was loose, so I had to undo it all again. So leave it attached if you want, but be careful with it. Coming around the other side, it's plugged into another couple of things here. So it's plugged in by this, another white cable here, which you can just shift out. That's actually got a push down at the top. You can push that down and it loosens it. And then as far as this power source goes, that is it. But while you're here, you might as well undo this other connector here while you're there. So, you know, when in Rome, get rid of that, okay? So those two are out of the way. So now what you'll notice here, if you haven't seen it already, is there's two screws holding this in. This is a bit of a deceptive angle, but this one is higher than that one. If I show you that way, see how one's higher? So therefore that's longer. So when you're putting them to one side, and there is a third one, just remember, one's higher and one is shorter. You need your Phillips head for this. They both have M next to them, which means it's a thin screw, remember? M for mini, let's say. So this is the long one. Let's try and get it out. So we'll just put that there for reference, and then going down to the bottom, this will get the smaller of these two little buddies. So you can see, oh God. There you go. So you can see one is bloody magnet. One is significantly shorter than the other. Keep them together. We'll put them on there. And then around the other side, you have the third and final screw, which is just in there. Also has an end pointing towards it because it's also a thin one. Don't take a PS3 together backwards is the rule. And that one's the same size as the other one, I think. So they're like twins. So now this, can it come out yet? No, not quite, because there's two more, baby. Here at the end. One there, one there. These are, I believe, normal. So you probably can't see it, but there is a little arrow there. There's an arrow next to it, but there's no M next to it. So that just means they're slightly different to the other ones in that they are bigger, normal size. But keep them all together, if you know what's good for you. So that's one. That's two. Obviously, while you're doing this, if it is dirty, this is clean, because I cleaned it yesterday. You can clean it as you go. You can clean it while you're putting it back together. Excuse me, whatever works. So now we can just lift this out. But on this back side, which is facing towards you, so where that white cable was that we took out and that I got rid of before, this is plugged in to two sort of metal pins. So it might feel like it's stuck on this bottom corner. It's just a case of getting under there with your hand and gently lifting it up together. So if you pull it by the opposite corner and just try and lift it up gently, it will come, and pivot it against itself. And that's the power source that we'll just put down there. So you can see here, them two pins at the bottom. That's what the back side will plugged into, yeah? So far so good, right? So far not so difficult. The next bit, we have this little tab here. Now this black tab is protecting the actual connection, and there's a tiny, I forget what they're called these, it's just a flap basically. So that little black bit is a flap. It's a flap that you need to press up. You can use your hand or you can use a screwdriver very delicately, and then using the black tab, just gently shift that out. Because when you put it in, it's hard to show on camera, but it goes in on each side like that, under something, rather than just going in loose. There's like a clip on each side, just so it goes in flush, and then you put the connector back down, right? So that's that gone. And then the next thing is there's a connector there, so that with this wire, and just as before, wiggle side to side. Now this isn't really connected to anything, so you can just lift that off and put that down and try and remember where it goes. Now then, we are at the section with the press plates, or whatever these are called. These are the things that push the sensors down. You know, the stuff that you put your thermal paste on. I don't know what the press pads, I think they're called. So we need to remove these press pads and this plate. But before we do that, we're going to get rid of this grill. Now this grill is pretty straightforward. So there's a pin here, normal Phillips, but it's an M, which means small, and another one there. So let's get rid of them. And a tip I learned from the video I watched is what I'll tell you, is when you've taken these out, because there's so many screws, just leave them in the holes of the grate. So when you're taking this out, right, and that just comes out, leave them in there. When it picks it up, leave them in there, otherwise you'll lose them. Like I lost one yesterday and I still don't know what it's for. Now then, we're getting down to the bare bones. Let's just get rid of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Good rule of thumb, obviously, is to keep them together when you've taken off the pressure pads. So we have 1, 2, if they're not all the way out, just give it a little turn, 3, 4, and then this has to come out. But you see this here, this is the I think it's the wireless Wi-Fi connector, and that's just literally pull that up off that, and then there is a screw connecting that together. That's a small one as well, and the same as with the grill is when that comes off, you kind of have to slide it off, but also pull it up at the same time. Leave that in there, otherwise that'll go missing also. So that's that gone. And then we need to get rid of this metal plate. In this one, we have one that's small with an M. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 down the side, which are normal without an M. They all have arrows on them. And then at the bottom, we have an M and a normal. So you've got 1 M at the top, 1 M at the bottom, a normal one on the left as I'm facing it, and then 4 down the right. So that's 7 altogether, if you're a maths whiz like I'm not. So how you store these, let's just put that there. Get rid of the big ones first. So that's 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5, and then we'll get rid of the little ones. So I've got a baby one there at the top, and then we have a little one at the bottom. So that's all them there, and then this literally just lifts up, bada bing bada boom. And then this is the trickiest bit to get off. This is the hard drive, okay? So I've freshly pasted this, as in put new thermal paste on, so I've got rid of all the old crap that was dried and stuck on and got some new stuff on. So it should be, in theory, easy to lift up. What you don't want to do is lift this and the silver bit up. You want to lift them up separately. So the easiest way to do it is to lift up one corner whilst pushing down against the metal. And it might feel a bit nasty, might feel a bit foreign. You might cut yourself like I did yesterday. It's not liking that. Probably a good thing that doesn't show. But yeah, pull it up, be gentle with it, but also firm, and then you can get that out of the way. And this is where your thermal paste goes on, onto this section. If you are going to redo the thermal paste, get rid of that with some isopropyl alcohol, put it on, spread it about, and also get rid of it on the connectors at the bottom, but we'll get there. So that's the motherboard. So we're pretty much there at this point. To get rid of this, we have to do just this one here. So this is a unique screw at the bottom in that it comes with a washer, and it's basically there to ground this wire here. So if we undo that and take all the washer and stuff with it, that's the only, I left that out the first time I did it as well. So there's the washer and stuff. Yeah, so what that goes into that. So that goes on there first, then the washer and stuff goes on top of it, okay? And then this just comes off quite easily. And at this point, it's just the fan to take off, which is this section here. Now, I did see someone online replace the fan with more blades. Up to you. I haven't. On this one, we just have 1, 2, 3, 4 in each corner, and that'll take the blades off. Sorry, that'll take the unit off, the housing unit. And before they're just normal screws them, and then this should just come off, and this back bit will come off as well, and that sort of slides in like that, okay? And then you can just get rid of that. And then this is the fan unit. Oh, there we go. So when you're cleaning it, you can give this a wipe, give it a nice clean. Yeah, give that a clean, replace it if you want. If you want to replace it, it's just a case of undoing those screws and then replacing it like that. These bits literally just come off, they're not really secured by anything, and that is the bottom of it. Give that a wipe, which is what I did yesterday. See them 4 holes at the top? Oh, those 4 holes. Trying my best here. They go into these 4 things here. I was trying to figure out how to get that bloody thing back on then. There you go. So they're kind of on, but they're not on. And then when you're putting it back together, it's just repeat the process really. So that falls back on there. That goes flush in that hole. And the bit you need to remember, which I forgot yesterday, is to slide this bit back in. Just like so. Take your 4 screws, whack them back on. So that's one corner. Good rule of thumb when you're putting any screws in is to put them all in, ideally diagonally, if you listen to my dad, but he's not here. Don't screw them in fully tight, just screw them in most of the way. If I can see, because it's quite dark in here. That goes in there, that's the 3rd one. And then the 4th one. Rushing, because I've got to pick my daughter up soon. Because school's nearly finished. Right, so now we'll tighten them. So tighten 1, tighten 2. If you need to pause the video, of course, at any time, please do. And if it's out of focus, I can only apologise. So that's on there. And then if we're working backwards, we know the next thing. This is kind of indented on one side and outdented on the other, if that makes. So this comes out and bumps, whereas it goes in. So you want the side that's in facing upwards, is what I'm trying to say in some form of caca English. So now this is the bit, remember the only bit that's securing this in is this pin with the washers, this screw with the washers. So this goes down first, then that goes on top with the washers, okay? So it grounds it. That's basically what it's for, I think. I don't know. That goes on there. So next we want the motherboard, which goes with the thermal paste onto the thermal paste pads. So that just, it sort of has to go under that connector there, that metal bit here. It goes under there. And if you're lucky, it will sit nice and flush. On top of that, we have this bit. So there's these two pads go down, and it's that way, isn't it? So this kind of bit is missed out. And if you just want to line it up, the two prongs have to go through this hole, and it can't do it if you put it the wrong way, basically. So they go on there. You know when you feel like you're missing something out? But I don't think I am yet. So that goes on there. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do the pressure pads, which just go back onto there. It would be funny if someone's watching this and I do actually miss a step, which by the time you see it, I should have rectified in post, but knowing me, I'll probably miss it. So the pressure pads go down. Putting it back together is a lot easier than taking it apart, in my opinion, just because once you've taken it down once, you kind of know where goes where. But it's good to have a video to refer to, and I'm hoping for you this is what this will be. Assuming I've done it right. So all these are doing is forcing the thermal paste things onto the pads, I guess. And then what we want to do is we put as little pins in, remember? So we have an M up top, don't we? And where's the other one? Pop quiz. Can you remember? Leave a comment. Where does the second one go while I'm doing this in? 3, 2, 1. Did you get it? Down here. Top and bottom. Easy to remember. And then another pop quiz while I'm doing this one. Remember the arrows just point to where they need to go. How many were on this side? Can you remember? Leave a comment with your answer. Oh, don't. It was 4. 4 was the answer. And again, if you don't know where they go, the arrows point to them. So there's one at the top. If your PS3 looks slightly different to this, should I say, that's okay. Mine didn't look 100% like the guys in the video I watched, but for the most part, everything was the same. So that's the third one. Okie dokie. So next we need to reconnect the Wi-Fi thingy, the technical term for it. First we'll just whack that on there. Remember that just connects to there. It just literally push it on and it connects. Now on here, this kind of, it's a weird way of going in. It almost slides underneath. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad, to be honest. It's not as hard as me trying to get my screwdriver on the end of the bloody screw. Right. That goes on there. And then we want to put the grill back on. Remember that goes here, and there's 2 pins that we left in there. I keep calling them pins, I don't know. Screws is what I mean. See, the point is, if someone as lacking in technical knowledge as me can do this, you certainly can. Yeah. So the grill's on. Right, there we go. There's a little clip for the grill there, which just holds it in. And that will get screwed in by the screws that go above it anyway. So that's that. Looking at the floor, what's next? Hard drive. Remember the flap goes in this little clip. Make sure that clip is still lifted up. And kind of, these legs go into the holes. There's 2 holes and there's 2 legs underneath. Okay, so they go in the holes diagonally. That's all that kind of puts that in place. Now with this one, as I say, it's hard to get on camera, but there's a couple of legs or holders that you have to get it under. And once it's in, flick that back down. Laughing. Plug that in to the one nearest to it while you're there. We're just reversing ourselves, aren't we? Power source. Remember this hole goes into the pins. That's how it stays in there. Give that a little push. Make sure it all lines up, which it does. And my 3 thingies are here. So you've got a thin one, but a long one. Remember, we had 2 that were slightly longer than the other. One of which goes there at the top. That goes there. This is the other one, which goes in the taller one of the 2 sections here, remember? Let's rewind the video and watch it again if you're struggling. I appreciate I'm going through the rebuild a little bit quicker, but it's purely because I'm running out of time. I need to get my kids soon. So that goes in there, which it doesn't want to, naturally. And my big snout's coming in the shot now, which is always welcome. There we go. There we go. The nose is out the shot now. There we go. And then, do you remember we have the 2 in the end here? One there and one there. And those were just 2 normal ones. And these go through to like that plate that was underneath that we didn't think was flush. But it didn't really matter because this will sort it out. That goes in there. That goes in there. Oh, I've got a sweat on now. Right, that's that. And then crucially, there's 2 things we have to plug in. That one goes into the nearest one at that side, and then at the back side, this white thing goes into the black thing. I'm gonna have to have a look at this because I can't see it. There you go. So everything's plugged in, everything's connected. Now then, we're coming to the bit that was tricky. So on this top side, remember there's got these like hooks on the thing here, these little plastic nubs here. They go into holes on this top side and it folds like a flip phone, for want of a better reference, and just push it shut. Make sure it's flush down the sides, which it obviously is. And then you're facing this towards you, so these are to your top right. And then we're just putting in the screws. Let's go with the small one first. Remember there's an S at the top left. That goes up there. And then what you can do is so there's an arrow there. There's an arrow there. 1, 2, pop quiz again, how many? 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like this is a speed run. Gonna run out of time. Just plug them all the way in. Yeah, don't overdo them, otherwise you'll ruin the top of the screw. If you've got an electric one of these, that is good, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to over tighten them or ruin the top of the screw. So although it's a bit more effort and gets you sweaty, I do always prefer the manual screwdriver. Blisters and all. Oh, come on. That one. one more, and that's basically the hardest bit done now. It's back together. Right then, now get your lid, and remember we had the PlayStation facing us, and so you place that on top, and we pulled it before, so now we push it. To secure that, we need to put the game bit thing in the hole. Now that it was the hole, if you remember, it was the hole that we took the rubber thing off, that one. So if you can squeeze that in there on an angle. Get that in there. And then get your little rubber nib. You can drill bits attached to that. Drill bit, screw bit. That just goes in there till it's flush. Hard drive goes, that's just the top bit, straight in, click, make sure that's level, get that on there, and then we need our Phillips head for this, and then clip that back into the hole. And there you have it. That is how you, as a very, very low-level amateur, take apart your fat PS3, give it a clean, replace the thermal paste, and put it back together, all within 30 to 40 minutes, depending on editing time. Hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe to the channel. I'll try to put more up if you want. Leave a comment if you want more videos like this. I might put some gaming videos up at some point. And yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Yorkshire Retro Gamer. See you next time.